What's going on, everyone? Trust the Buzz here. If you're new to the channel, I make daily Charlotte Hornets content, so if that interests you, make sure you go ahead and hit that subscribe button down below. If you cannot tell by the thumbnail title of this video, in today's video, we're going to be talking about how Nikola Jokic put up a career game against the Charlotte Hornets. And I say career, he's had maybe better looking stat lines, but he had like a career high in rebounds. And really, I'm not even here to talk about the game. If so, I'm sorry to disappoint you. This is a Charlotte Hornets channel. There's not really much to talk about as far as the game. The guys didn't play that well. It wasn't until the second half they really started playing better. And then it's very similar to the game against the Hawks, the depleted Hawks. And I did a video about that, but I couldn't get it edited and record. Well, I got it recorded, but I couldn't get it edited in time and put it out before this game. So I thought I might as well just, recap this game. But like I said, Nikola Jokic had 40, 27, and 10 playing 40 minutes. And then I know Mike Malone said something like after the game. He was saying that the reason he played Nikola Jokic so much is because their bench wasn't good. Not really anybody else did anything crazy. Aaron Gordon was good in my opinion. Jamal Murray was kind of Bruce Brown was tearing up the Hornets. But yeah, the Charlotte Hornets, they just did not play well at all. I mean, like I said, it wasn't until the second half. LaMelo Ball did his thing, but he still has a lot of flaws in his game, and I feel as though the team around him doesn't hide any of those flaws because they have very similar flaws as well. So like one thing is like LaMelo Ball fouls way too much. I don't think he was in foul trouble this game, but he definitely fouls way too much. So I feel as though that he needs to work on that. It's just small, stupid fouls. I remember somebody was dribbling the ball up the court, and I guess he tried to cut him off, foul. And it's just like, why? There was no need to do that. I mean, you could have ran next to him, but don't try to cut him off. It just rarely works out in defensive players. It rarely works out for the defensive player. So that was just a bad foul. His defense was better this game. I know, like, coming back, his game hasn't been looking all that, especially on defense, but his offensive game has been great. But he was a little better today on defense. He didn't get just blown by as easily this game, but I mean, there were still moments where you would want more from him defensively. But I mean, like I said, outside of him, you got Kelly Oubre, who I like. Kelly Oubre, he's actually like a player I really like on this team. However, what he doesn't fit on this team. The chucking up shots, it doesn't fit just because of the fact that he's one of our better shot makers. So considering he's just chucking up shots, if your shots aren't going in, nobody else's shots are going in either. So that's kind of like one of the sad parts. Terry Rozier went out early in this game. I think he only played like 14 minutes. And Steve Clifford said something about that. It's just not looking good for Terry. He was in a lot of pain. So we'll see where that goes. So our main three guys, Gordon Hayward, Terry Rozier, LaMelo Ball, all played maybe 15 minutes together. It feels like it was very short-lived. So that was kind of sad to see. Gordon Hayward, I mean, he was a little better today than he was in the Hawks game, but he still was just a little. I mean, he's been a shell of himself all season, in my opinion. And then Mason Plumlee got in foul trouble early, but he came back and played a little better. PJ Washington is someone who I actually want to do a video on just because he had the worst season of his career, like efficiency wise, and I don't know why. So I want to go back and look at the games and kind of figure it out. I know a lot of it is that he's just not making his threes. And that's a big part of it. Like, he's shooting like 40% from the field and like, I want to say 32% from three, but I'm not 100% sure on that. I got to go back and look. But yeah, it's just not looking good for him. And overall, it's just not looking good for this team. And that's kind of where I want to get into it. But really quickly, I also would just like to talk, because when we do these, I talk about the Hornets. And sometimes I have fans of other teams come in here. And granted, I know they clicked on the Hornet channel, but I like to talk about the other teams as well. And I know I mentioned some guys, but like Bones Highland, he played okay. I was actually pretty impressed with Christian Braun. He didn't shoot that well, but I thought he was pretty good defensively. He had 5 rebounds. I thought he was a pretty good player. And coming out of Kansas in a draft last year, I thought that was an interesting pickup. But I see, like, I can see the talent for sure. And I mean, that's really, I thought about everybody else. Jamal Murray, you would want him to play better, but then he was able to, get 11 assists, which, if, you're familiar with Jamal Murray's game, it's not that he can't pass, but that's not usually his thing. So to see him get 11 assists when he's not contributing by putting the ball in the basket, good thing to see if you're a Nuggets fan. But yeah, back to the Charlotte Hornets there. I don't know. There's not really much to talk about. That's why I really struggle to make videos. I know I could do like all these other like cool things. I have ideas. However, it's just like all that might be obsolete. the way this team is just operating. So I was gonna like rank who has the most trade value and things like that, but I don't know, because then if no one gets traded, I'm gonna be mad, and I guess I'm too just personally connected to the team to really like do stuff like that. But anyway, yeah, it's just overall, it's just. You could easily say like, oh, they only lost by 4 points after a career night from Jokic, but it's like, to be honest, Denver's bench played abnormally bad, and then also it was just Denver's defense is known to not be that good. So of course the Hornets are going to put their points up, a team that usually operates well offensively with LaMelo Ball in the game at least. And so it's just, I don't know, it was a good match, I guess. Like, so you match that up, and of course it looks like the game's closer than it was, but when you watch the game, it just really wasn't that close. They got it close at the end, but it didn't feel that close at all. You could tell Denver took their foot off the gas, and that's kind of my point. So when we play these games against teams like this, it's always fun if we win. It's always fun. It's a hard fought game, but this game was a hard fought all the way through. We got killed on the boards in the first half, and they got better in the second half. And I made a tweet on Twitter, and I said that the Charlotte Hornets, they can do one thing at a time. So if you like first half, they were getting killed on the boards, and so it was like, all right, well, y'all's offense is not terrible, but we need y'all to tighten up on the boards. And so they start tightening up on the board, but then their offense lacks. Or it's like, all right, well, now the defense isn't that good, so can you play a little more defense? They play more defense, they can't rebound. It's just all over the place, and I don't know what it is. And I mean, it's not much has changed as far as the team. So I mean, it's very easy to say it's not the coach. You changed coach. Maybe change a GM to get better players. Well, I wouldn't even say better. It's just a better fit of players. I don't know. It's just something about this core. What does that tell you when your team is 7-23? I believe it tells you that you need to change the core. But I mean, I could preach that every game, so I try not to because it's true. But I don't know. This team as a whole is just. I would have a lot more fun watching the younger guys play. In my opinion, it's just frustrating to see the money that we put into the team, the money that they put into the team, whatever you want to call it, and it just not produce. I know Gordon Hayward just came back. I know Terry Rozier's having a terrible season too, and I know LaMelo Ball just came back. But you're playing like the Denver Nuggets. Like I said, those games are fun. Like if the team gets close or we win, like the game against the Warriors earlier in the season, that was a fun game. It was like, oh wow, the Hornets won without LaMelo. But when you really think about it, and like I said, I hate to be the person of bad news, but it is what it is. When you really think about it, it's just that those teams take off the regular season. They don't really go too hard in the regular season. And also, they're missing one of the most efficient scorers in basketball, Michael Porter Jr., so that doesn't help because he would have torched us if he was healthy. But it's just those teams take off. And so, yeah, it's fun to us, or it's like, oh, look how good we can be because, we only lost by 4. But in reality, you got to think about it. They didn't play that hard, to be honest. I mean, they did to keep us away. They did for sure to make sure they win the game. But overall, they didn't play that hard. It's not like they were playing the Warriors themselves or the Pelicans or the Grizzlies or the Suns. It wasn't like they were playing one of them. And especially a team like the Nuggets who, well, out of the last few years, their key players have been injured outside of Jokic, so they get to the playoffs, they fight hard in the playoffs and then lose. But a lot of these teams are in the mode of, okay, well, we can make the playoffs, so we make there. I just want to make it healthy, and then we'll go from there. And that's kind of how they're playing. So it's just like we can't be like, oh, this is enough to keep the team together just because we only lost by 4. No, they were not. They were barely playing. They were missing their best player, and really, like LaMelo Ball, 31 points, great 31 points. However, like a lot of shots he takes, I don't see them going in forever. I'm not saying LaMelo Ball's not talented. I'm just saying if he takes real shots, those will go in too. But these circus shots he takes, they're not always going to go in. So it's just like that drug us a lot of the way. And it's just frustrating because like I said, so many people really believe like, hey, we're so close. And it's like, I do not want to be the negative person, but this team hasn't given me any reason to believe that they're going to be more than what they are. There's no need to bring this team back and try to run it back. This is the 4th and final year, especially of Gordon Hayward's contract. Well, next year will be the 4th and final year. So there'll be no reason to bring them back and be like, all right, let's try it again. No, it has not worked. 3 out of the 4, like I said, I'm talking for next year, 3 out of the 4 years. is not enough. Like, well, we could go 3 for 3. It has not worked out for this team. So what does that tell you? It tells you that this core is just not going to work. It's not all of a sudden going to work next year because there's still injuries that could happen next year. We know Gordon Hayward's not the most reliable person in the world. LaMelo Ball, I'm not saying he's injury prone, but he does get injured. Terry Rozier, I wouldn't say he gets injured, but still, it's just he's having a tough place on the team right now. And then our bench is still our bench. We don't even know if we'll have PJ next year because he's on a contract with, and like I said, he's not even playing bad. Well, he is playing bad. And then we don't have anybody. Kelly Oubre chucks up shot. This is the last year of his deal. It's just I don't see it. But like I said, I hate to come up here and talk about it every episode or every video, but it is what it is. But anyway, let me know what you think down in the comment section below. I'm going to come up with video ideas. I just get stumped and I get in my own head and be like, oh, well, they don't want to see that. But I'm also really tired of just coming up here talking about how bad the team is because there's nothing to talk about basketball wise. I mean, the young guys don't get enough minutes to really critique and say, oh, look how far they've come. Like guys like Kai Jones, Bryce McCollum don't get any minutes, and Terry Rozier was hurt, didn't get any minutes. I mean, it's cool to see LaMelo Ball do things, but it's like this is not a LaMelo channel, and really everybody else is not doing anything. So I don't know. I'll figure it out. But anyway, thank you so much for watching. I really appreciate all the support. It's crazy to think about. I made this channel like 3 months ago, probably 4 months ago, 5. I don't know, but. I made it, I want to say 5 months ago, and then I'm already at 621 subscribers, so I really appreciate that. Make sure you go ahead and get that up so we can go get to 1,000, so I can make my way down to Charlotte, move back down there, or go to games. I want to go to games and maybe meet some of you, and just talk hoops. That's the whole reason I started this channel, was to talk hoops. So thank you so much for watching. I'll see you guys next time. Peace.